Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Rutland, Vermont. And Rutland, we are watching the first shot of Matt Fazzone, who is taking on the hard-throwing and powerful Brandon Boyer. I know somebody asked right at the end of the last stream what happened to Brandon Boyer. Well, here he is. He was seeded. Number 2, actually, and here he is bowling Matt Fazzone, who just got done disposing of Bill Webb. So 2 tough matches in a row for Fazzone here. That's one of our feature pairs. And there's a nice 4-9 bad break for Brandon to kick things off. Our other feature match here is on 11 and 12, and that's going to be Daniel Babcock, who just got done beating Nick Messino against number 5 seed Andrew Hall. So those guys will be going, and Babcock starting off with a bucket in that match. This is the round of 16. We will have 8 matches coming your way. To the right of our feature pair is John Kirker, who just got done winning. And he just beat Justin Barcombe. He's bowling the number 3 seed Justin Quinones. And to the right of them, up on 17 and 18, is Mike Mirable, who was the number 6 seed, bowling against Jack Castellano, who beat Dave Paquin Jr. In his match. And then moving down on the other side of the draw, we'll go down to 9 and 10, where Sarah Gill, who beat Ditto Fitzpatrick, is bowling Ryan Ladley, the number 8 seed. And way down on 7 and 8, very interesting match, Corey Umbrello bowling Chris Monroy. And then way down on the end, our host, John Wilbur, up against Roy Vanderbogart, who beat Will Vidulich. So those are your 8 matches, and we'll be covering, obviously, the 2 in front of us, but we'll be tracking the scores of all the matches as we go along. Very, very happy to be here for the first time in Rutland, Vermont. Beautiful Rutland, beautiful drive up here. The mountains are great. They're still skiing in Killington, which is interesting. And so doing that, and here's Hall making the 3-6. And meanwhile, Brandon opened and then spared, and here's Fazzone with a chance to double up here. Thanks to Chip, Mark, and Greg Fort, as well as John Wilbur, of course, the manager here, in hosting our event. And there's a trip rolled 3 from the back for Matt Fazzone. Always helps to have power. That's going to be a double for Fazzone to kick things off for him. I'd like to thank the local Rutland USBC, as well as Black Dog Shooting Supplies, and John Chaffee for adding $1,500 to this prize fund. And really beefing up that prize fund. Thanks so much. Here for our first trip up here. Interesting pattern out there, titanium. It's a Kegel challenge pattern. It's called Challenge Long, and that's how we build it. 44 feet, 25.3 mils, 4.21 to 1. So certainly no bargain out there. And here's Fazzone just piping 5 with a beautiful shot there. Really no chance to have it overreact or underreact. You see guys deep. You saw Corey Umbrello play probably 4th arrow and shoot 200 over on the 1230 squad. And then you see Matt Fazzone piping 5. Most of the righties are in. Let's watch this shot by Brandon and see where he is. And we just saw Babcock in as well. And here's Brandon. That's out to the track, but didn't quite get it back, and he gets the 10 out. And so that's just a 2-pin for him, although Fazzone already with the early triple, so looking good in that match. And here's Quinones, who just flagged a single pin and strikes again, so it's a tie match. This is on 15 and 16. Kirker with a chance to get up and double and take the lead in that match. And meanwhile, Michael Mirable has the front 3 over on 17 and 18. So he's looking good. And here's Babcock with 4-9 of his own, a bad break there. I've seen a couple of those already. And we saw 7-10s, we saw 4-9s. I left at 8-10 in the pocket. Some very interesting hits here, and also some interesting carries. So seen a little of both on both sides of this. So here's Sarah over on the left of your screen on 9 and 10. And just strikes against Ryan Ladley, who started with a double, and she is an open, so she's down 20 pins in that match. And Babcock, unfortunately, is going to flag that 4-9. And now let's see if Brandon can get on track here. Yeah, a hard throwing. There's a strike there for Brandon. It's at 10 out late. Let's see if Fazone can keep it going. Kirker did, in fact, double. So now he's got a 10-pin lead over Quinones over in 15 and 16. And Hall with a chance to take a 20-pin lead in his match. And that's lose 4, and a great shot there by Andrew. And also by Sarah, who doubles over on 9 and 10. Now we must get out the official live streaming binoculars, and we'll have a look at the Umbrello Monroy match. There's an Auburn match if ever there was one. And let's see if we can see what's going on there. And that was Corey striking. Looks like Monroy flagged a single pin in the first frame. And Corey also opened, so they're about tied. And then further down is the Jay Davis match, recent winner. And that's going to be, need the super binoculars for that one. And then way down on 3 and 4 is a match. And that's going to be the Wilbur match. We'll see if we can get some updates on that with Roy Vanderbogart. So just trying to keep up with these matches here. And there's Hall, got one way right, but gets it back. And week 10. Meanwhile, Quinones flags the entirety of the 2-4-6-10, going 6 out. So he's got 2 opens on that right lane. And meanwhile, Kirker has tripled. So Kirker with now a 38-pin lead. Fazone back on the strike train. And good shot there. So interesting lanes here. Synthetic heads, wood back ends. Made for some very interesting mid-lane reaction. We saw mid lanes that sometimes if you'd get it to the right of the pattern, it would hit the rate and go for 3, and sometimes it would take a sharp turn, and sometimes it would behave normally. So, as John said in the podcast we did earlier this week, definitely some trickiness from pair to pair, and definitely trickiness in terms of the transition from the synthetic heads to the wood back ends. And interesting to see how different people reacted to that. And Mirable after that actually had the front 4, but then went 2-10. That was up on 17 and 18. Here's Babcock trying to get back into this one. Comes in late, but doesn't leave the 10-pin. Leaves a makeable spare. Coming up on June 4th is the Dexter Youth Singles event at Chicopee. And looking forward to that youth event. It's strictly youth, and that's as defined by USBC youth. Then on June 4th and 5th is the Savage Arms Open out at Chicopee. So that will be a standard NEBA singles event. And put those on your calendar. After that, June 25th is the over-under doubles. And that's going to be at Cranston. And then June 26th is the regular doubles. And that's going to be also at Cranston. And the Turbo Grips will sponsor the over-under. And Grog Monster Sports, a new sponsor this year, will sponsor the regular doubles. The over-under 50 doubles, again, June 25th, will be on a standard house shot, recreational shot, if you will. The regular doubles will be on a challenge short pattern. So that should be interesting at Cranston. And there's John trying to get his 5th in a row, Wilbur. He leaves a 10-pin. Meanwhile, Brandon blows through the 1, 2, 4 and leaves the 4-pin. And now Fazone with a commanding lead in his match. And unfortunately, Babcock goes 4-6, giving Hall a pretty good lead in his match. And I just watched Corey Umbrello triple against what looks like Monroy's second open. So I think Corey Umbrello in a very, very strong position here, and his very close girlfriend right next door. She's got a triple of her own, so that couple's looking really strong so far in the round of 16 here. Once again, it's the NEBA Green Mountain Open, Rutland, Vermont. Beautiful up here, we love it. NEBA number 967. We're only 33 away from number 1,000, and that will be under my watch. Can't wait, I'll be president starting in January, and Matt Fazzone just gave the 3-8 a ride and was thinking he might get it to kick out and make it, which is normally a absolutely impossible spare. Now here's Hall with a 36-pin lead, but that's going to cross over, but gets it. I know Andrew banked his ankle, and he also has elbow problems, and he had his thumb patch coming off, so all kinds of, we need an ambulance out here for some of these guys. Everybody could share the feed, and we really appreciate it. Get our listening numbers, viewership up. That'd be great, and I'll be watching the chat here. See who's checking in. Shout out to my friend Don Harrington. He's qualifying as we speak down in Sterling, Virginia, in the Budmore Open, the PBA 50 event down there. And had a great lesson this week with Mike Diaz. And if you don't know Mike is a gold level coach and phenomenal. And he made some changes to my game that were badly needed, but didn't work out today so much. But shout out to Mike as well. Really enjoyed my time with him. And Chris Monroy just went 4-6 again. So Corey Umbrella with a commanding lead in that match. Let me see if I can catch some of these very, very end matches. Ian Fitzpatrick against Jay Davis. And Fitzpatrick is clean. It looks like Davis has an open and a double. That match is about even. And let's see if I can see the Wilbur match. I see a string of strikes. That looks like Wilbur. But there's a string of strikes on the other side too. So hard to tell on the Roy Van der Bogart, John Wilbur match what's going on down there. So, but some of these matches well in hand. And Babcock looks like he just picked up a spare shot. I actually didn't see it. I was looking around, even though it's right in front of me. Looks like Brandon has switched balls here to something a little bit more reactive, and it paid dividends immediately. Got a double out of it. Russ Mashad, yes, Mike Diaz, one of the best coaches no one knows about. I'd agree with that. He's one of only about 45 or 50 gold coaches in the country, Russ. And, there's a lot of wonderful coaches out there that aren't necessarily gold certified. Think about Mark Baker and some of the other, Mike Jasnow, and some of those guys aren't necessarily gold certified. But I'd say, all in all, certainly under 100 such coaches, out there, and Mike is there. Now, meanwhile, Ryan Ladley doubled, and unfortunately Sarah Gill got up and threw a 4-6, so trouble there. And here's a washout by Babcock, so he's having lots of trouble. And Corey Umbrello, as soon as Sarah goes 4-6, Corey Umbrello goes Greek Church. And let's see what's going to happen in that match. She's got a commanding lead, though, over Monroy. And Sarah with a pretty strong lead as well, but we'll get the exact numbers here in a minute. So, meanwhile, we have a 20-pin match right in front of us between Fazzone and Brandon. And here's Hall looking for a triple. Gets it. Pretty ginger with that elbow and everything, and so Andrew with a commanding lead. Just needs to beat 188, and I think he's already got that pretty much in the bag. So, looks like Hall will advance. And the Marab Mirable match up on 17 and 18. Michael just left a 4-pin in the pocket. His opponent has 203 pace and Mirable with a 215 pace. So we've got about a 10-pin match there with Mirable in charge. And Hall got one right, holding his shoulder, but managed to make it work. So here's Brandon, can make this interesting. If he can get this one, he can get up to 154. He can get this within 11 if he can strike here, and does. So Brandon now only down 11 to Matt Fazzone with a great ball change. And Quinones just blew by a 5-pin, so anybody with their hand up gets a free drink. And Kirker is going to cruise in that match. And Babcock even makes a good shot and gets a ring 10 with no luck. Here's Michael Mirable, gets the strike. And a key shot in the 9th for Mirable. Again, bowling Jack Castellano. And Castellano can go out for 233. Mirable 235. So this looks like the most interesting match we have. And unfortunately, Brandon went high there, so now he's 13 pins behind in the 10th. Brandon really needed that hit. And we'll give him a spare. So Brandon's going to weigh in at 192, and he will make Fazzone. If he strikes, Fazzone can win with 9 out, because Fazzone can go 84, 93. So Fazzone just needs 9 on 2 balls because Brandon was unable to get the second one in the 10th. So looking like Fazzone is going to move on, unless, we'll see. Stranger things have happened. And Kirker is going to move on. Here's Castellano, missed the head pin right. And let's have a look, and he makes the spare. So Castellano 183 in the 8th, and Mirable 195. Excuse me, 183 in the 9th. Mirable 195 pace in the 9th. So Mirable certainly in charge in that match. And Hall will win. And now let's look at the Sarah Gill match, who just left a 6-pin somehow. And Sarah, by virtue of that 4-6 split, actually fell behind Ryan Ladley. So since Ryan doubled, he's got 2 doubles and 1 open. Ryan now pacing to 202, and Sarah pacing to 194. So Sarah getting up in the 10th. They're both in the 10th now. Sarah desperately needs a double to put some pressure on Ladley, but Ladley cannot be shut out in his match. Meanwhile, despite the Greek Church, Corey and Fazzone indeed does get 9 out in 2 and wins by 1. That's exactly what he did. He needed 9, and he got his 9, and that was that. So it was a very tough spare he left and couldn't make it happen. So meanwhile, Sarah gets the first one in the 10th, and she will need another one to force Ladley to strike in the 10th. So some up and down scores here. As you can see, 4-1 pattern, nothing, no bargain. And Andrews is dumping it up the lane, having elbow problems. And here's Monroy striking, but I don't think that's going to do him much good. And looks like Roy Vandebogart putting his stuff away. Looks like Wilbur won down on 3 and 4. So that will be our host advancing. And Andrew Hall will advance. And let's see. So let's go back to the Mirable match. So indeed, Castellano did go out for 202. Castellano 202. And Mirable did strike in the 10th to give him 205 in the 9th. So Mirable will advance. So it's Mirable, Kirker, Fazone, Hall. And let's check in on the Sarah match. She split in the 10th after her strike and ends up 193, which means Ladley only needs to mark. So Ladley needs to mark to dispose of Sarah. And Corey Umbrella will win. Let's look at the Jay Davis match. And Kirk and Wilbur has won. Well, let's have a look at the. Looks like the Jay Davis match is well in hand. Looks like Jay Davis's opponent can only shoot 160, and he's cruising at a 200 pace. So looks like Jay Davis will advance over Ian Fitzpatrick. So it looks like Wilbur, Davis, Umbrello. So Ladley, what does Ladley leave? Ladley leaves a 6, 9, 10. The 3 on the right. And Ladley needs to make this. You can see it on the right side of your screen, that spare combination. Ladley must make this to win. He's taking his time. Sarah's waiting. Let's see what happens. Big shot for Ladley. Here we go. And rolls at it. Beautiful cover. Ladley knew he needed it and gets it. And now he needs 1 pin. So good spare there by Ladley. Not the one I would have liked to have left. But he will advance. Hall, Fazone. And here's Wilbur lining up. So now we will not use 15 and 16 anymore. We'll watch Ladley's last shot and we'll sign off. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you back very soon for the round of 8. Only 2 practice balls this time, so we'll probably have a very short time in between here. So, you know, as soon as I say that, it looks like Ian Fitzpatrick just ran one out because his opponent opened. Jay Davis opened. As soon as we say that, Jay Davis opened. Fitzpatrick doubled. Fitzpatrick can go 199. Oh my gosh, Fitzpatrick now can strike out for 199 and close out the match against Jay Davis. And we just gave him the match. Wow. Well, it goes to show it ain't over till it's over. Jay Johnson, excuse me, my bad. And Ian going again and strikes again in the 10th. So Ian with a chance to actually, believe it or not, close out the match when Jay Johnson had it well in hand. Because Jay just went 6-2 in the 9th to get 168 in the 9th. And what a turnaround this will be. Ian Fitzpatrick now has 169. He actually has the lead by a pin because he struck in the 10th. And let's see how Ian can close that out here. If he can double and get to 199, he will actually win the match over Jay Johnson. What a turnaround. And through the beak. Uh-oh, not a good shot. Definitely, it looks like some kind of a split there. Again, it's hard to see. But that's going to be a... The animation says split, so it looks like 7. So the best he can do, it looks like, let's call it 85. And let's make sure he gets 2. That'll put him at 85. Jay Johnson with 168 in the 9th. So Jay Johnson merely needing a mark and 8 to win. So it's Jay Johnson now up on lane 6, way over to the left of your screen. And we'll call the shot for you. We're just about to sign off. And then, little do you know, there's a match turns around and we have to call it to the end. This is why they play the game, folks. So Jay taking his time. Everybody else long done. Now Jay Johnson. Mark and 8 to advance. And the shot's away. And he flags the head pin very badly to the right. It looks like that caught the OB. That might actually be a 1-5. Is that right? Did he leave a 1-5? Now I'm using my binoculars to look at the pins. I think that might actually be a 1-5. No kidding. So that's an 8 count. He's got to make it. So do you raise your hand on the 1-5 split? How does that work? And he knows he needs it. He's going to take his time. He missed the head pin to the right last time. What does he do now? And turns into it. Makes it. He made it on the right. It would have been a light pocket hit. He makes the 1-5. And now that shot again would be a winner. He needs 8. His opponent has 186, and he has 168 in the 9th with a spare up. He needs, it's actually 8 to tie, right? Let's see. No, 185, so 8 to win. 7 to tie, 8 to win for Jay Johnson, lane 6. He's going to throw a regular strike shot. He's not going to heave it down the middle. And we get it there. Packed strike for Jay Johnson. Wins the match. Okay, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back for the round of 8.